Okay. So are you able to see this one? We can write it down one more point. So normal cyclic prefix, we call it as a short cyclic prefix. I told you yesterday what is short cyclic prefix and long cyclic prefix. In theory or in practical, whatever we do in company, they call it as a normal cyclic prefix is equal to short cyclic prefix. Is both are same, and extended cyclic prefix we call it as a long cyclic prefix. So it has 6 symbols.
Okay.
Okay, and you know what is the this cyclic prefix duration for normal cyclic prefix is 4.7 microsecond duration, and extended cyclic prefix is 16.6 microsecond duration, right? Okay, today we will go into deep more OFDMA and SCFDMA. Something. Okay, I'm recording. So we know that in a bandwidth, in a channel bandwidth of suppose this is our channel bandwidth of 20 megahertz. It has a lots of subcarriers, right? So there may be thousands of subcarriers which are responsible for small data transfer. So this is our a 20 megahertz channel bandwidth. So how do we know how many RBs resource blocks it has? This is a 20 megahertz bandwidth, because in while working, the eNode will do the scheduling of data in the form of RBs only, resource blocks. So let us see how we calculate resource blocks. How many resource blocks this 20 megahertz is having? So suppose are you? I will share you. If our channel bandwidth is 20 megahertz, we will not utilize the maximum bandwidth, because uh, there may be a loss of data at the cell edge. So what we do, we do not schedule RBs at the cell edge. We reserve that band, some bandwidth, one bandwidth at the left side cell edge, and one band, one RB at the left 1 megahertz right side of this cell edge. So if suppose our total bandwidth is 20 megahertz and we are transmitting only up to 18 megahertz only, because we keep some uh, guard band, it's a kind of reservation to avoid the loss of data, left side as well as the right side. So we will use only 18 megahertz of bandwidth for our transmission of data, right? Let's come to here. So so each subcarrier is apart as 15 kilohertz. So 15 kilohertz difference. Each subcarrier is apart 15 kilohertz. So we are using only 18 megahertz bandwidth. So let's do some calculation. We divide 18 megahertz, 18 into 10. Are you able to see this pen? 10 to
Yes.
the power of what it comes 3. Suppose where that power comes, power symbol, it's not there. It's a 10 to the 10 to power of, we can say, megahertz only, divided by 15 kilohertz, are simply 18,000 kilohertz divided by 15 kilohertz, right? Those kilohertz will get cancelled, and we will get here
6 by 8. 6 by 8.
we will get
Ah,
here
6 by 5.
let's see, calculator is better than us.
6, 16, 60, 600.
So
600 by 600 by 5.
18,000 by 15, this is 1200 subcarriers we will get,
Yeah, okay.
right? So this is equal to 1200 subcarriers in a 20 megahertz bandwidth. So one more point you note that as per 3GPP, they have defined 12 subcarriers is equal to 1 RB. 12 subcarrier means it is defined, we have to follow 3GPP specifications. So as per them, 12 subcarriers is combinedly called as 1 RB, one resource block. So our question is, how many resource block will come into 20 megahertz then? So this 1200 subcarriers will become 100 RBs, right?
Yes. 12 subscribe.
12 subcarrier is equal to 1 RB, then multiply with 100. 1200 subcarrier is equal to 100 RBs. Simple, right?
To 12. Yes.
Okay. So we know that 12 subcarrier is equal to 1 RB, and our 20 megahertz bandwidth, it contains 100 RBs. So this is how in the network they will schedule the data in the 100 RBs. How those scheduling will happen, we'll discuss in next class in attached procedure or some scheduling. So for now, you make a note of this. This 1200 subcarrier is equal to 100 RBs in a 20 megahertz bandwidth. Suppose our bandwidth is 10 megahertz. Suppose our bandwidth is only 10 megahertz. Then similarly, for 20 megahertz bandwidth, it is 100 RBs. For 10 megahertz bandwidth, it's obviously 50 RBs, right? 50 resource block.
Yeah. Yes.
No need to again calculate, right? You can understand resource blocks. Okay.
For 20 megahertz, how many resource block?
This is 100 resource block. We have calculated, right?
Yes, 100. Okay. Yeah.
Because we are using only 18 megahertz bandwidth. We are keeping 1 megahertz left side and right side reserve in order to avoid the loss of our data at the cell edge. So some site may be configured with the 20 megahertz bandwidth.
So Javed bhai,
Yes.
if we keep a 1.4 megahertz,
Yes.
3 megahertz, 5 megahertz,
Yes. Yes.
so then what is the calculation
Resource
Of RBs according to the same, like
Your voice is breaking.
hello,
Yeah, can you repeat?
actually network issue, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, now, actually, in 4G we are using 1.435
Yes.
megahertz.
Yes.
So the calculation just like a 20 megahertz in all bands.
Yeah, 20 megahertz.
Hello.
I will show you that one. How?
So guard period, matlab, okay. So can you show the 1.4 megahertz for that?
Yeah. Okay.
1.4 or 3? Okay.
See, for 20 megahertz, we have 100 RBs calculated. For 10 megahertz, we have 50
Okay.
RBs. Like that, for 1.4 megahertz, we have 6 RBs only allocated. Got it?
No, my 1 megahertz left, leaving 1 megahertz right for guard band period. But here we are using only 1.4 megahertz. That's why I'm asking.
In case of 1.4
So
megahertz,
is it possible for keeping the
no. In
yeah?
case of 20 megahertz bandwidth, we are keeping 1 megahertz left side, right side guard band. But in case of 10 megahertz, it will be reduced.
Okay.
We may not keep 1
But
megahertz, 500 kilohertz only we keep, something like that. In
but
case of,
calculation of 10 megahertz and 20 megahertz same. So only 50 RBs means just half now.
yes,
That's why
that's,
I'm asking.
yeah,
Means guard period of 20 megahertz and guard period of 10 megahertz same.
got period of 10 and 20 megahertz.
Of course, calculation is same. That's why maybe guard period is also same.
Hmm. This got period for 1.4 megahertz. I'm not exactly sure how it is calculating for 1.4. I will let you know tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, I'm not
Okay, okay,
sure.
no issue.
So
Okay,
generally, for 20 megahertz, it is how this is how calculated.
yeah, yeah, understand.
So you can note down this RBS allocation for different
Yeah.
variable bandwidths. We will discuss now about our LTE frame structure. Let's come to LTE frame structure. So in an LTE, suppose if you consider FDD frame structure, before that we should know how the frames are transferred. How many frames will be available in LTE? Suppose if it is a UE and if it is a tower, so in downlink as well as in uplink, so LTE uses some kind of frames to transfer the data. Like it was in 3G, 15 time slots were there, and in case of 2G, there were 8 time slots. In that time slots, a user can get allocation. So like that, in LTE we have different frames. Like suppose this is one frame, this is one frame, this is one frame. Like this, in uplink also some frame allocation will be there. In that, the data will be transferred. So this frame is a fixed size. How it is fixed size means, in LTE there are total there are total 1002 02 1023 radio frames. This is we are transferring via radio interface. That's why we called it as a radio interface, radio frames. So these are frames which is transferred in the radio part. This carrying some data. So each frame duration is each frame duration is 10 millisecond. We can say it as each radio frame duration is 10 millisecond. Suppose this is our frame. Let's take this. It has a many subframes. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. So this is total duration of this frame is 10 millisecond, but each frame has a subframe also inside it. We call it as a subframe, which is duration of 1 millisecond. Let me write it down here. Each subframe has a duration of 1 millisecond. So this is total one radio frame. Inside there is a subframes, one subframe, two subframe, third subframe, fourth, fifth subframe. These are the subframe inside, which is having a duration of 1 millisecond. So again, each suppose this is one subframe. This is I'm taking here. This is one subframe I'm taking here. It has a 2 time slots. This is one subframe of 1 millisecond duration. One millisecond. It has a 2 time slots. So are you able to see this one screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is T0. This is T1. So one radio frame is duration of 10 millisecond. It has a subframes, which is of duration of each 1 millisecond. 1 millisecond has a 2 time slot. This is an interview question in any company. Whenever you attend, they will ask you what are the LTE frame structures. So you can tell that in LTE there are radio frames which are 10 millisecond duration, and it has a subframes of 1 millisecond duration. Each subframe is a having 2 time slots of 0.5 millisecond. This time slot and this time slot, it is divided 1 millisecond into divided into 2. That makes each time slot is of 0.5 millisecond duration. So how why we are dividing these things, time slot, subframes, radio frames, in order to allocate data in the subcarriers or in the RBs. It is nothing new. It is the same thing what was present in 2G, 8 time slots, and 3G, 15 time slots. So we can say that overall, one radio frame, if we consider of 10 millisecond, we can divide it as a 1 time slot, 2 time slot. It is a 1 subframe, right? One more time slot, 1 more time slot, 2 subframe, 1 more time slot, 1 more time slot, 3. So it will have like this up to 20 time slots, right? These are having 10 millisecond. Each 1 millisecond is of 2 time slots. So 10 millisecond is having 20 time slots, right?
Yes.
So each radio frame has 20 time slot. In case of 3G, in 3G, total number of time slot was 15. In 2G, total number of time slot was 8. But in LTE, total number of time slot is 20. This is the difference between LTE and 3G, 2G frame structure.
In LTE, how much? 20?
Yeah. So because each radio frame is of 10 millisecond, and each subframe having 2 time slots. So there are 10 subframes.
Yes.
So there are 10 subframes which is having 2 time slot each subframe. So obviously it is 20 time slots for one radio
20,
frame.
yeah.
Have you noted down? I will show the better one.
Yes, noted.
But in LT, there are total 0 to 10, 23 radio frames, means that total subframe is 1023 into 10.
Those are radio frames. 0 to 1023 radio frames. So I am talking about each one radio frame, what it contains. So this is what I was telling. So one radio frame is 10 millisecond duration. This is for FDD. So this one is the first subframe, second subframe, third subframe, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. There are 10 subframes. Okay. So if you take, you forget about this green, blue, this orange symbols, these colors. I will explain you what are these. So if you take first subframe, it has a 2 time slot of 0.5 millisecond, which contains 7 OFDM symbols. I told you yesterday, in normal cyclic prefix, one time slot can accommodate only 7 OFDM symbols. This is the OFDM symbols we are accommodating in one time slot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7 OFDMA symbols. Similarly, in second time slot, we have 7 OFDMA symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are primary
Can you repeat
synchronization.
once again?
Secondary, I will tell you when we start attach procedure. So these are for interview purpose only. Yes.
Javed bhai,
Hmm?
can you repeat this once again? 0.5 ms slot.
So in one radio frame, we have a 10 subframes, right? 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 subframes. But
Yes.
each subframe
Yes.
having 2 time slots. This subframe, if you
Yes.
take, it is having 2 time slot
Easy,
of
easy.
duration 0.5 millisecond, because one subframe is 1
Okay.
millisecond duration. If we divide by 2, we will get 0.5 by 0.5, this one and this one 0.5, making it a 1 slot.
Okay.
This is 1 slot and this is 1 slot. As per 3GPP specifications, a time slot can accommodate only 7 symbols maximum. So that's why we have a 7 symbols, 7 OFDMA symbols inside one time slot. Do not write this one, primary synchronization signal, secondary synchronization. We will discuss in detail when we start attach procedure. So this is how LTE frame structures look like. This is for FDD. And coming to the other part, what I was trying to say. So this is the same thing, whatever I explained. So suppose this is our subcarriers in vertical, and this is our OFDMA symbols in horizontal. Okay, and this is having one radio frame. Suppose one radio frame is of 10 millisecond. We are taking here only one subframe, which is having 10 millisecond duration, 1 millisecond duration. So this is one time slot. Total is one subframe, which is 1 millisecond duration. We have divided into half, 0.5 this side, left side, 0.5 millisecond this side. So each time slot is having 7 OFDMA symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This also has 7 OFDMA symbols. So we called one resource block is equal to 12 subcarriers. So in vertical direction, there are subcarriers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are 12 subcarriers. Combinedly is called as one resource block, 1 RB. So in a horizontal direction, we have OFDMA symbols. In vertical, we have subcarriers. So 12 subcarriers is nothing but is equal to 1 RB. And the OFDMA symbols, whatever we are seeing inside this time slot, so each carrying some data. Each OFDMA symbol is carrying some data. So that we call it as a resource element. If you see this one, if it is this one OFDMA symbols, we call in LTE it as a resource element.
Uh, 12 sub. What is if we ask what is resource block means, we have to sell 12 subcarriers.
Yeah, 12 subcarriers is called as resource block, one resource block.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a one subframe, and this is 2 time slots. One subframe is divided into 2 time slots. Each time slot is having 7 OFDMA symbols. So its smallest unit in LTE data can be transferred with one resource element.
So Javed bhai,
Yes.
if we using extract and CP, cycling
Yes.
prefix,
Yes.
so then what is the resource block element is only I think 72 now. because this time 84 element.
Yeah, 84 elements
Okay,
will come. Yeah,
because 7 symbols.
72. 6 into
Yeah.
12.
Okay. Yes, 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 yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
We will calculate that one in next class.
Okay, no issue.
When we calculate throughput, how much throughput in LTE we can get, that comes into picture. 7 OFDMA symbols if you are using, or 6 OFDMA symbols using. So, okay, noted down. We have discussed OFDMA and frame structure. Let's discuss about CFDMA. Before that, I suggest you to make a heading and write this definition, a CFDMA definition. So the most obvious difference between the two schemes is the OFDMA transmits the 4 QPSK data symbols in parallel, one per subcarrier, while SCFDMA transmits the 4 QPSK data symbols in series at 4 times the rate, with each data symbol occupying m into 15 kilohertz bandwidth. No need to buy hard. This is for theory only, just for interview. We never concentrate on while work. We never look into the UE that how many symbols it is transferring, how many, what is a OFDMA is using or not, SCFDMA is using or not. So nobody goes into the UE and look what is happening. So this is for theory purpose only. I will explain you what does it mean. OFDMA symbol transfer 4 QPSK data symbols in parallel, and whereas it is transmitting 4 times in at series, transmission happens in CFDMA. Noted down.
One moment, not read it.
Okay, shall I move?
Yes, continue, Javed bhai.
Okay. So what does it mean? As we know that, suppose make it as OFDMA. Somebody is in Bihar. मुंह धोए ले लिए. This is SCFDMA. So we know that in OFDMA, suppose this is our subcarriers is transmitting in time domain, right? So we do the opposite direction, are reciprocal orthogonal to the first carrier in second transmission. It may have some gap. So if next transmission will be after some gap like this.
10 milliseconds.
Okay, 15 kilohertz or 0.06 millisecond duration. So like this, it may have some gap. with 15 kilohertz, this 15 kilohertz gap. Each subcarrier is having a 15 kilohertz apart. But in case of SCFDMA, for a 20 megahertz bandwidth, if you are transmitting one subcarrier, we maintained m times how many subcarriers we are using. Suppose if you are using 4 subcarriers for a 20 megahertz bandwidth, so whatever the definition is there, we are making a difference, a gap of, suppose 4 carriers we are transferring, then we should have a, for 4 carrier we should have a 4 into 15 kilohertz gap. 4 into 15 kilohertz gap, that is nothing but 60 kilohertz gap. This is an example. It may be different gap or different, only one subcarrier can be used or multiple subcarriers can be used in LTE. But in case of uplink, especially companies are using only one subcarrier, because there are some reasons I will tell you soon. So suppose this 4 subcarrier if you are using, the frequency gap we should maintain of 60 kilohertz. Then only,
almost 40 minutes.
yes,
40 minutes.
okay, we have 1 minute, 2 minutes more. So after this 60 kilohertz gap only, I can transfer another subcarrier in SCFDMA. So why this is we are transferring, means to avoid the high peak to average ratio. So what is peak to average ratio? Means in OFDMA there are many subcarriers, right? These subcarriers require some power to transmit. So each subcarrier will be carrying some different power levels, right? So at E node B there is no power restriction. It can transmit at different power levels or whatever the required power. But in case of UE has to fix its power. Whatever the uplink transmission power is there, UE fixes one transmit power and it transmit. It cannot transmit with variable power levels. It will drain the battery very soon. To avoid the battery consumption, like to reduce the battery consumption, we are using with a constant power level and transmitting the one subcarrier. After that another subcarrier, after that another subcarrier. In a we are maintaining a gap between subcarriers, huge gap. So it will look like a single carrier in a 20 megahertz bandwidth. I will show you that